Here, mate, this is the best gear. The best gear of the year, mate. Got a spare snout, mate?
So, it's the end of another year, and winter has draped its chilly ballsack over the land, bringing ice, snow, and hypothermia to terrified pensioners in their freezing homes, killing them off like some sort of elemental Harold Shipman. Mind and keep an eye on old Janice's house where milk bottles piling up at the door. Or just take some free milk. I'm no your dad. Like the customary annual visit from that creepy, obese, white-bearded weirdo who breaks into your home and takes it upon himself to judge your children in their beds. Top 10 lists are an established December tradition. So today, let's have a look at the top 10 bots released in 2023 that I've managed to pick up. I've already reviewed 5 of them, so I'll focus on the ones I've not got round to and we'll give them a wee bit of love. That sound good, you wee arsehole? Oh, number 1 will get a full, proper review, so that's nice, isn't it?
Number 10.
Detritus makes it into the top 10 because his toy is excellent. However, I know your dirty game, Hasbro. Everyone wants Studio Series 86 Hound, essentially this toy in Hound's animation colours. If old Detritus here was released after an animation accurate Hound, fuck all people would buy him. His character is more obscure than He Touched Me by Greg Kendrick. I don't think you'd find many folk who are frothing at the gash for an obscure repaint of a G1 toy. Oh, he waits on the side of the battlefield and joins whatever faction looks like they're going to win. That's a character trait, admittedly, but it's definitely not a full, rich personality. It also makes Detritus a bit of an arsehole. Who are you, Detritus? Why do you get a toy over someone more deserving? Like literally anyone else? Where my boy Nightbeat be at, Hasbro? That being said, Detritus here is wonderful. When I think about an ideal wee guy to fiddle about with, Jesus, that didn't sound right. Detritus was right at the top of the list. He's effortlessly posable with these wonderfully deep knee bends and top tier articulation. Transformation is as predictable as explosive diarrhea after a bucket of KFC. That predictability is comforting in a way. I mean, Detritus's transformation, not the chicken diarrhea. The only complaint I have with this nice wee Jeep is a complete lack of interior detail. Could Hasbro not have moulded in 2 wee seats? Apparently not. Maybe Detritus just doesn't want any filthy, grubby human butts farting into his upholstery. Fair enough, wee man. Fair enough.
Number 9.
Reviewed him, mate. Check that video out for more. A lovely wee blue fella.
Number 8.
Here's a fella that didn't get enough love, in my opinion. Needlenose is a great wee toy. He's ultra posable and looks smashing in both robot and plane mode. After we got the Legacy Stunticons, I thought Needlenose was a dry run for the aerial bots. I'd love a Superion in the style of Menasor, and Needlenose would make a great template for the limb bots. You just need to flip the plane kibble so it's pointing up and then you'd be set. I love his knight-inspired head sculpt, just like another fella on this list, and his colours be popping. I especially like these pearlescent shin bits. They're proper nice and remind me of a cocaine dealer's fancy modded Vauxhall Corsa. Quite apt for a character with nose in his name. The main thing going against Needlenose is that he's just another Decepticon goon, isn't he? A background character, never meant to be in the spotlight. He's just making up the numbers, like a guy playing with his limp willy in the background of a gangbang video. I can't really recall any media focusing on him. I know he was in the G1 comic, but he didn't really stand out that much. I hear he had a rivalry bromance with Trax in the IDW comics continuity. I'll get round to reading that one day, but I'm currently too busy buying toys, writing shite jokes about toys, and filming unwatchable videos about toys. Barely got a second to myself.
Number 7.
Great fellas. I've already reviewed Tarn, and Bludgeon is just more of the same, but in gaudy Halloween-based colours and a samurai skull for a head. What is not to love?
Number 6.
I've been waiting for Studio Series 86 Ratchet for bloody ages. Well, ever since 86 Ironhide came out. Now that he's here, he really doesn't disappoint. The only reason he's not higher on this list is because he's just the same toy as Ironhide, but in white and with a monobrow. I own 3 of these now, so there's not a lot of surprises left with Ratchet, bar the new paint. It's kind of like getting your partner to dress up as a sexy nurse or maid or that. It's still the same old burst punched lasagna under there, but in a fresh wrapper. Still, the novelty is appreciated. It's great to have Ironhide and him together again. Look how awesome they are together. They are such a good pair in both robot and van mode. I'm definitely not getting dying Ratchet and Brawn though. You have rinsed enough money out of me with this mould now, Hasbro. You money grabbing pricks.
Number 5.
Reviewed him a couple episodes ago. Bloody great big muscly guy, and the only essential Gamer Edition toy.
Number 4.
Finally, the Insecticons are complete. Not you, Ransack. It is so satisfying having these guys together again. The 2 previous Legacy Insecticons have been awesome, and Bombshell continues the trend. Admittedly, you can really notice the retooled parts of Shrapnel. Bombshell and Shrapnel are very close to being the same toy. What Hasbro has changed made all the difference though. Check out this mental noggin in the boy. What's going on here? We have a retro TV antenna up top, a big flappy bit that can be positioned as you wish, and some kind of robotic medieval knight face action. Absolutely great stuff. Bombshell's arms also deserve a mention, as I love the integration of these insect legs / blasters. There's lots of options on how Bombshell holds these, so you can choose whatever looks best to you. Top quality drag queen level accessorising, wee man. Bug mode is predictably not much of anything. It's very accurate to the boxy, vaguely insect-like alt mode Bombshell had in the cartoon. I do really appreciate how his arms fold into the chest to reveal these bright yellow insect eyes. That's quite clever. Still, it doesn't scream insect, does it? This could easily pass for one of the mental devices that anthropomorphized lone howling wolf t-shirt Zach Baggins uses to talk to ghosts. I'm still into it.
Number 3.
The best wee fella released this year. Already reviewed him, so check that out if you want to find out why.
Number 10.
What else can you really say about the Studio Series 86 Dinobots? They're just perfect, aren't they? How dare they be this good? At this point, they're just rubbing it in how much better they are than you, mocking how much of a failure you are whilst they sit there with their perfectly painted wee eyes. Perfect wee arseholes. Anyway, Snarl is no exception. Snarl just might have my favourite robot mode of all the Studio Series dinos. He's so thick and chunky. Look at his stupid head sculpt. Snarl's face just looks so dumb. I love it. This face definitely has an IQ in the single digits. I love that Snarl comes with a sword. He also has the perfect wrists to wield this big fuck off chib.
Some cunt's pure getting chibbed, mate. Look at my massive chib. Yes.
There's excellent articulation all round on this big fella. Snarl's dino mode isn't quite as good as the robot mode. The way the tail comes together kind of makes him look like he's pooping. Also, instead of the usual shiny gold plastic, Hasbro has opted for this margarine coloured dull stuff for Snarl's head and legs. It's not too bad, but it does stick out a bit when he's beside the rest of his shiny perfect pals. It's nothing too egregious though. Snarl still easily takes the number 2 spot this year.
Number 1.
So, Ultra Magnus, eh? What a great fella. He was a bit of a massive failure in the 86 movie, but at least he was voiced by the legendary Robert Stack from Unsolved Mysteries.
Join me for these intriguing and fascinating cases in tonight's edition of Unsolved Mysteries.
That silky smooth charmer couldn't help but make any nearby woman ruin their knickers with a mere whisper. Magnus very much redeemed himself in season 3 of the cartoon. Mind that episode about his birthday? Mind him scrapping with Cyclonus? All good stuff. He also had an awesome run in the UK Marvel Comics against his nemesis Galvatron. Their storied rivalry was an absolute highlight of the series. I still get chills at the bit where Magnus freaks out after being encased in molten rock, only to recover at the last second and beat the living shit out of that time-travelling prick Galvatron. I was pretty convinced that Kingdom Ultra Magnus was going to be the definitive version of the character for my collection. He was the first review I did on this channel, and I had nothing but praise for the chunky city commander. However, with the passage of time and acquiring a shit ton of robots, my opinion of him has begun to sour. Then there was a leaked listing from Hasbro. Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus. Surely he'd just be a redeco of the Siege/Kingdom mould. I mean, look how many times they've reused it, like a condom from the Victorian period. But what's this? Commander class, like Rodimus and Skylynx. Oh my, this could be interesting. Then came the leaked pictures. To be honest, they weren't the most flattering. Magnus looked wide, really wide as your mum's legs when she's had one too many baby shams at a Cliff Richard concert. I was left unconvinced that I needed to pick him up. Then came the actual reveal, and we saw him in scale with other bots. Oh Lord, he big. What a chonker. Was this Ultra Magnus or Ultra Chungus? Well, obviously I had to get him. So is Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus any good? Oh my, he's fucking awesome. Just look at this fella. Breathe in his commander class glory. Dare I say, this massive Chad looks even better than his on-screen counterpart. He is so swole. He's an absolute Adonis. Ultra Magnus's proportions are admittedly a bit stretched horizontally, but it just adds to his gigantic, imposing, beefy presence. Magnus's head sculpt is just perfect. I thought the Kingdom one was good, but the Studio Series just blows it away. I think that Kingdom Cyclonus has finally been bested for the best of all time light piping. It is weird that his head pipes aren't attached out of the box, instead coming in the usual bit of bog roll with the rest of the accessories. But it does mean you can leave Magnus with a suppository shaped head if you're into that kind of thing, which I know you are. Magnus comes with a lovely tip window gimmick, just like that one bit in the movie where he puts the Matrix in his chest cupboard twice for no reason. You can lift up this wee blue bit and Magnus's Matrix chamber springs open, revealing this amazing silver mechanical detail and surprisingly a matrix of leadership. I mean, he only had it in the movie for about 10 minutes before he pathetically tried to light our darkest hour and got all exploded up by the sweeps. Interestingly enough, you can also recreate that scene with Studio Series Magnus, as you can remove his legs and arms on these combiner joint things. Unlike the Matrix chamber, this is a pure shite gimmick. The wee tabs on his legs are murder to lift up, and you just end up pulling them off at the mushroom peg. Fuck that. Like the time I scalded my tinkle on the innards of a microwaved melon, there's little chance I'll be doing this again. Going back to the positives, Magnus has amazing hands. These chunky mitts could be the most posable in my collection. Access to these wonders of toy engineering are a bit hampered by Magnus's big blue cuffs. But if you just have a bit of patience, I know that's hard for someone like you can work with them just fine. Magnus's legs are big, chunky, stompy things that put the Studio Series Dinobots to shame. Look at these massive knee-high boots. Kinky bitch. Comparing this robot mode to the Kingdom release just shows how flawed that bit of old shite was. Whereas Studio Series Magnus can get into all sorts of wacky action poses with some truly excellent articulation, Kingdom Magnus is about as posable as the stiff, dead body of that hitchhiker you've been hiding under your floorboards for the last 5 years. All the kibble on Kingdom Magnus's legs, meaning he's barely got a knee bend. Getting them into any kind of dynamic pose with these is pretty impossible. Kingdom Magnus also seems very light and hollow, making him feel as cheap as a Poundland knockoff. The most impressive difference between the Magni is in the transformation. Whereas the Kingdom release breaks down into more parts than Lego Optimus Prime, Studio Series Magnus remains in one piece throughout. Transformation on Studio Series Magnus is just a joy. Despite his huge size and many transformation steps, his transformation is as smooth as a freshly waxed butthole. When you're done, you're left with this lovely car carrier. This just is Ultra Magnus. It's exactly his alt mode as it appeared in the original series. I've got zero complaints. You can even open up his back door and ram a couple of boys in there. It's perfect. Look at this thing of beauty next to Kingdom's alt mode. When I got him, I thought this was pretty good. Flawed, definitely, but a decent representation of the character. How wrong I was. This is just shite, isn't it? To be fair, I'd only just got into collecting and everything seemed amazing compared to the toys I remembered from my childhood. In hindsight, this alt mode is a steaming pile of fetid, pus-ridden shite that has oozed out of a polyp on the burst arsehole of an old, diseased, dying horse. Everything is just pish. The cab that turns into a shite, chubby white Optimus doesn't even try to get rid of its arms and hands. The trailer doesn't even have a floor. The sides of the trailer aren't meant to look like this. There's even a space for an Autobot badge here, but Hasbro were too cheap to put it on. The roof of the trailer is shite and nothing like it's meant to be. The trailer is red on the bottom, not on the top. I think I might just hate this thing. Fuck Kingdom Ultra Magnus. Get out of my sight, you shite bastard. So, should you get Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus? Oh my god, yes. In every way, he's just about perfect and easily my toy of the year. I can't really imagine how you'd improve on this, apart from maybe making him a tad less broad, and even at that, I kind of love him being an Ultra Chungus. The only real negative you can say about Studio Series Magnus is that he renders the Kingdom and Siege mold utterly redundant. In every category, the Kingdom version is utterly outclassed. So you'll probably hate the Studio Series Magnus if you're keeping a sealed Siege or Kingdom one and wanting it to go up in value. It's actually quite a shame. I remember how excited I was to get Kingdom Magnus. Now he's been replaced in the 86 movie display and I'm unsure of what to do with him. For now, he hangs out with the Beast Wars guys I'm not really into on an out-of-the-way shelf, collecting dust and slowly being forgotten about. All the while, he still sees with his dusty eyes the love and attention given to his replacement. The love given to all the other toys around him. All the toys but him. Frozen in his plastic prison, he waits for the day when he'll be picked up again. The day when he'll bask in the warmth of human touch once more. The day when he can make someone smile. Maybe today, he thinks, as the sun rises and sets again and again and again and again. Did I just make you feel sad for a bit of bloody plastic? You simple plum. Don't worry, Kingdom Magnus is still loved. He's right beside Impactor, ready to reenact Operation Volcano. Despite his problems, I still love Kingdom Magnus, and all my wee transforming friends for that matter. So Merry Christmas and that when it comes. Hope you've got Studio Series Ultra Magnus waiting for you on Christmas morning. At least he should distract you temporarily from having to deal with drunken family members, screaming children, and an inedible turkey dinner. Anyway, you guys have a great night. Catch you later.